name's Steve Genewick. I'm a recording engineer at Capitol Studios. For the last 3 years or so, we've been a partner with our friends at Dolby, mixing music in Dolby Atmos, which has been really fun.
Nice. So let's talk about that. 3 years seems like a long time. How's that journey been?
It seems like a long time, yeah. 3 years has been great. I was kind of the sacrificial lamb. I was the first guy thrown into the fray, where we built this beautiful room at Capitol to mix Dolby Atmos, and they said, "Here's a record. There's Dolby Atmos. Go have fun." So it's been a real journey for me, not only learning the new technology, but learning how to use it and make it effective, and using the technology to actually make music, not just showing off a lot of speakers and bouncing stuff around the room, but actually making compelling sounding music. So sometimes we do bounce stuff around the room, but that's just for fun.
So, what have you learned? What are some of those kind of learnings?
Wow, the stuff that I've learned, there's so much more space. And there's so much more to deal with. When I say deal with, I mean in a good way. So, as mixers, we've always been jamming stuff into stereo and carving stuff out to make it fit. And now we don't have to do that. So the palette is so much bigger. And if two things are clashing, I just move them apart, and it works. So I don't have to EQ and compress stuff. I can really keep the integrity of the music. I can keep the dynamics, because we're not, we're allowed to have dynamics. And really, it's just, there's a whole new set of tools and a whole new set of space to convey the emotion of the song, which is still what we're doing. I'm always trying to remember that, again, we're mixing music. We're mixing records for people to listen to, not just speaker systems. So.
And your room at Capitol, what's the setup in there?
Room at Capitol is, it's a big PMC system. We have 20 speakers. So it's pretty substantial. It's a great sounding room. I think it was always a great sounding room, even before we put the Atmos system in. With the Atmos system, it's a stunningly impressive room. I mean, anybody who ever has a chance to listen to music in that room is just kind of in awe. It's a really great room to work in. Right now, there's a big analog console in it. For Dolby Atmos, we don't really use the analog console. That's been a bit of a challenge, is finding the workflow between multiple computers and stuff like that. Luckily, when we started mixing Dolby Atmos, the Pro Tools integration had happened right before that, so that was a little bit easier. And as both Pro Tools and the Dolby software, as we all move through this, we're helping each other and influencing each other, and both companies have been great about, we found this, we think we can do this better, so they upgrade the software and make it better. So it's been a really great partnership.
What are some of the projects you've worked on? What are some of your favorite Atmos mixes and projects?
What have I worked on? I've done a lot. The first couple, we did the now infamous Def Jam record with the LL Cool J and Public Enemy. I did those. The first record we did was REM, Automatic for the People. What else have I done? Recently, I just mixed Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. I did that in Atmos. We did Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. I've been doing a lot of Blue Note stuff, where we actually came up with a way, because a lot of the Blue Note stuff and a lot of early jazz stuff was either recorded directly to stereo or to maybe a 3-track. So we don't have a lot of elements to pull out. So I came up with this scheme of reamping. So basically, we take the stereo record that we have and we get that sounding really good. And then I set up a dozen or so microphones in one of the 2 big studios at Capitol, and I actually pump the sound into the studio and go back into the Atmos room across the hall and balance the live room till it kind of sounds like you're sitting in the room with the band and getting the atmosphere. And again, it's not flashy. There's no helicopter. Miles Davis doesn't fly across the room. He stays where he is. But it's really effective. It really gives you a sense of space and kind of draws you into the music a bit more than the stereo mixes did. It's been really fun.
We've got some new tools. You talked about some of the partnership and the development. Workflows now with Logic, the automated music panner. Excited to see some of that happening?
Yeah, absolutely. The panner was something that immediately I was asking for. Hey, I don't have this tool, and Dolby stepped up and went, "We'll get you the tool." And yesterday I saw the tool for the first time, so I'm really excited to get in and kind of dive in and use it. There are new tools that we're going to need if they aren't there yet. Right now, it's kind of the Wild West. When we need a tool, if we don't have it, we have to make it up ourselves. So, for instance, I have reverbs that are 8 or 9 stereo reverbs that cascade through a room that make up one Atmos reverb for me, and same with delays and stuff like that. So it's been very fun to do stuff like that, and to kind of create these ways of mixing and these workflows and the stuff we have to do. And now it's even more exciting because I can say, hey, I need this, and somebody builds it, which is really fun. Yeah.
And you said like 3 years ago you were one of the very first, but now there's kind of a community of mixers who are sharing ideas, because as we've kind of grown, we've got studios all over the place. How's that been kind of like between this very tight-knit community being able to like understand Atmos together?
Right. Yeah. As the community of mixers grows, it's become really fun. You know, we at Universal, you know, we have a big initiative to provide content. So we have, I think, about 10 Atmos mixers at Universal working, and then, you know, a few guys that are outside of our Universal scope that are all doing it, and it's great when we all get together because we're all making it up as we go. So it's great to talk to people and go, hey, I found this plugin that does this, or I found this way of working here, or, you know, I did this and it, you know, I did a mix and then I heard it somewhere else and it didn't work, and this is why. Like, I had to go back and totally redo it because it was really messed up, but now I know why, and don't do this anymore. Like, we at Universal, we have a call every Thursday morning. We all get on the phone, and or as many of us as possible, and just kind of share notes. And because it's kind of something that nobody's done. I mean, obviously the film guys have been doing it for many years, but what they're doing is completely different from what we're doing. Same tools and the same concepts, kind of, but mixing music without a screen is much different. So being able to get together with other mixers and actually talk about what works, what doesn't work, listening to their mixes is really fun when the other guys send stuff over. You know, I've had times, you know, you always get to that point where you're doing a mix and you know, you're in your little bubble, and you know, you just get lost. And, you know, I've had it where I've like called a guy and like, are you mixing today? Yeah. Can I send you something? And just have somebody else listen to it and get feedback from it, good, bad, whatever it is. So yeah, the community, it's been that way in just in the recording community in general, but now we're getting a little community there. It's not just two of us at Capitol, you know, it's spreading out, which is really nice.
Awesome.